Thomas asked me to say a few words from my perspective as all this. And also thank you, Thomas, for driving this project and putting together all the countries, because it is very important to share the best practice from all around the countries and to make the system of career guidance more accessible for clients and for all people and population. So you prepare some few information about the Slovakia. From my perspective, what was really important, that more than 10 years we put together we three with some of you know Stefan Deitzar. We three together put together the first standard of career condors based on the NIS project, the BLIS guidance framework, which was in 3 levels, like your career informator, then career condor, and career policymaker expert. This was very useful because we were able to discuss with relevant policies or policymakers to introduce them into the topic of career guidance and how it is supposed to be implemented into practice. So when we were talking with public employment services, we were using the first level as an informant. When we were using it in the Ministry of Education with career conducts, or those who were identified as career conducts, we were using this framework and introduce them. And the top level, when we were talking with ministries and regarding the text and innovation in innovative practice, we were using the model of Texter in a career guidance stuff. This helped us a lot of to bring the career guidance into various acts, various strategies on a national level, and we were very in short term, relatively, yes, time span of 10 years. We were really happy that we put the career guidance in most of the strategic papers in Slovakia. As Thomas mentioned on the slide, we were able to discuss the career guidance system at the Ministry of Education, the Ministry of Labor, and also partly with employers and Ministry of Economy to introduce them into different aspects of career guidance. I want to point out that the career guidance is very various in one system. So one thing came to my mind, that when we are talking about the career guidance in the field work Ministry of Education is responsible for, we need to discuss with various sides that you mentioned. Because when we count to those who were responsible for primary education, we really need to talk about the career education and how, and we managed to put this into the national curriculum. So the schools had to put the career education into the primary school level. Then we come to those who were responsible for secondary school or upper secondary school. Again, this was more focused on career counseling and preparing people for the job market. And then also it was quite a complete different discussion when we came to higher education and to organize prevention. Yes, those preventions. It was more focused on the target group of people with fewer opportunities. So the main challenge was to steer or introduce different people into what can be the career guidance, the different position of career guidance. So right now, we are happy that 2 years ago we had this main goal that we wanted to establish the career guidance into the act or to system of lifelong learning, but this didn't happen, and at the end the legislation changed, but we managed to put career guidance into the act of education, adult education. And I think this is also a learning point for other countries that based on this new act, we started to establish a register of career counselors in adult education. And on top of this, we started to build a qualification system. And right now we are in a process of building professionals and establishing this career consulates register and connected to individual learning accounts. So everyone who is interested in Slovakia can look for a practitioner, and the state will financially support the handling processes. So this is very much where they are right now, and Tom will tell you more about the perspective from this project.
Thank you very much, Martin, for the system overview. What's important to understand also about the Slovak standard is that it takes roots in the standard that was developed by the Association of Career Practitioners, that was adapted now and put into legislation. And the story in terms of content analysis will be very similar to what we've heard by Tibor and Zuzana. So basically you can see the occurrences, maybe a little bit less focus on diagnostics, because we try to consciously move away from this traditional focus in our standards, but still a much more frequent occurrence of counselors' professionality and facilitation, career information, and also this administrative and management task. But the standard initially also has traces of usage with freelance counselors working with adults that have to take care of this quality cycle that Tibor mentioned. In terms of overall overview, it's very similar to Czech Republic, for example. Very much focused on the practice, on the content of the service, on the tools that are used, but also with much more pronounced focus on care information and the code and the CMS development, even compared to Finnish standard, but a little less focused on these theories, reflectivity, and research. So it's a more practical, operational, compared to a reflective, systematic stance that the Finnish standards adopts. Now, for different areas, you will have the slides so you can look into details, but mostly very similar to what was already told. Whereas the Finnish standards focuses very much on the reflective autonomy and capacity of the counselor. Slovak standards takes a look at the applied side of it. How do I implement guidance in practice with clients? Not so much about how do I reflect, how do I improve upon this. In the area of the work with clients, we have a strong focus on learning outcomes. So guidance is a learning process with development of career management skills. And much more detailed description of the tools used and the content of the process. Where I think the most important difference emerges is in the framing of the practitioner's role. As Tibor said, in Finland, this consciousness of being part of a global lifelong guidance system is very present in the standard. I don't know if this describes the reality or the aspiration of the Finnish system. This is almost absolutely absent in the Slovak standard. We take a look at the client at the one point of time and how can we support him in this specific transition. And there is some networking that is involved, some liaising with other actors, but always from the operational perspective, either redirecting client or calling upon their complementary service. So this systemic and lifelong learning view, lifelong guidance view is understand now. Thank you very much. And now, close.